tonight we're going to continue the talk on King John because he's a really interesting king, and well, you know, everybody says bad King John. Well, I have as well. Maybe the Victorians have painted him up to be, you know, a little bit better than he was, but he was quite bad. Anyway, but really to talk about where John came from in the line of succession, his family, we really have to look at the whole sort of, well, not the whole, but the Norman timeline. And we start with William of Normandy. And right, okay, so known as the Conqueror after 1066, and Duke of Normandy, I think, at the age of 8. And he married Matilda of Flanders, yeah. Now that's not a very contemporary picture, I know, look. But look at that belt, it just shows the old fashioned. They were almost touching the ground back then. And you see there's a little strap end, but it's not actually right at the end of the strap, is it? It's further up, which is rather interesting, little detail. Haven't dug one of those up. Anyway, they have a number of children, but the two that we really need to concentrate on is Adela and Henry, young Henry, who took the throne from William Rufus. Or I shouldn't say he took the throne, but it was a terrible hunting accident, and his brother, you know, got killed. And so anyway, he actually then has two children. That is William, who died on the White Ship after coming back from some battle, and it was Rocks of Harfleur. It went down. They'd been partying, I think, and actually Stephen, who's the son of Adela, here's the other one there, he was on the ship, but he came over a little bit queasy, apparently, had a bit of a dodgy tummy, had to go back on shore, and I just don't think he was a party animal. It saved his life because the others all went down, and his father was, you know, absolutely shot, and there was the heir to the throne gone, and but he had a daughter, Matilda. So she's sort of, you know, reckons she should be queen on the death of Henry. The death of Henry eating far too many lampreys. Oh, those lampreys. They're absolutely delicious, apparently, I'm told. I like black pudding, so I can't see why the lampreys would be so disgusting. But he had too many one night, or maybe there's a dodgy one in that 40. Absolutely loads of recipes on the internet. Lamprey, it's apparently rather tasty. I was just looking at one on lamprey pie. Just cut the head off first. That's first part of the preparation, because they look disgusting. But anyway, so many other things that we eat look pretty disgusting with their heads on. So anyway, so here we are then. Henry dies 1035, and Stephen rushes to the throne, takes it, and yeah, Matilda's really hacked off about that. So there's a civil war and battles between Matilda and Stephen. Poor old Stephen gets really tired of all these civil wars, and so does the rest of the country. Matilda has a son, and that's Henry. He's going to be Henry II. Now, young Henry is actually adopted by Stephen when he's about 16. And really, 1 year later, Stephen's dead, and he's the King of England, Henry II. Now, then we rush on to his children, and this is where we come to King John. So there's quite a few, but actually I think there's a Philip as well there in between Geoffrey and Eleanor, but anybody out there knows better, please let me know. And there he is at the end, young King John. Now really, Henry wasn't expected to have him because his wife is, did I actually print a picture of his wife? No, I didn't. But it's Eleanor of Aquitaine. She was 45, I think, when she actually had John. So it was a bit of a shock, you know, a little bit unplanned. But no land, you know, called him Lackland. And he was really aggrieved about that. But lots of civil war continues. And Richard, obviously there's Richard there, Richard Lionheart, brought up in Eleanor's court of love, really romantic, and he spent 6 months here in a 10-year reign, goes off, crusades, gets killed in the end, and well, John is the successor to the throne, and he was actually born in, well, it says 1166, I've read 1167, but so King John, yes, there he is, and the closest association really is the Magna Carta, which he was forced to sign by the barons in 1216 at Runnymede, June the 15th. And yeah, Magna Carta, or the Great Charter. And basically it was the Barons saying, please stop taxing us and giving us such a bad time, and let's I mean, they were an institution of their own right by the 1200s and stuff, and so they really forced John to sign this, but that's just about all he did. He really put a signature to it. Really, it had been presented to, I think, Henry I to start with, so it was always there as, you know, part of really holding back the powers of the monarchy, and having a bit of a say and a bit of a democracy. And look, there's a lovely illustration there of him riding out, so there's a little horse though, nearly got his feet on the ground, to Runnymede. And it is quite amusing there, because I think the monk in the middle is just feeling a little bit unsafe. I mean, look, they've all got pretty good headgear on. I'm not sure about the crown, but heck, you know, he hasn't even got any hair. I don't think King John's was looking on thinking, yeah, I remember breakfast, those 2 boiled eggs, they were delicious. Anyway, so let's go back to the beginning of John's career and talk about him. Well, apparently he was about 5'6", very barrel-chested, and dark red hair, and I think the crooked crown there, and even the grotesque heads on the coins showed that he really wasn't very popular with just about anybody, certainly the artists of the time. What we really have is, over here, big family squabbles. You know, it all starts with William rebelling against his father. Henry II made his son Henry King of England in 1170, so he was really just a title, but he was officially King of England. Richard Lionheart, we will go into him at a separate evening, but we have Geoffrey. Now Geoffrey had a son called Arthur, and he actually had a rightful claim to the throne, and he brought this up with John one day, and John is the first monarch to be accused of murder. Really, maybe by his own hand. Some say he drowned. Maybe he just brutally stabbed him. I'm just going to jump back here to Matilda, because we are looking here at the beginning of the Plantagenets. We've looked at the Normans and how really Stephen is the last Norman, and Matilda, Empress Matilda, because her first husband was Henry V, but her second husband, Count Anjou, Geoffrey, and there he is. There's a fine look at him. Oh yes, a bit of a red beard on there as well. He famously wore a sprig of flowering broom, which was he had freshly put in his hat every day, and that's Plantagenista, so that turned into Plantagenets. And that's where we get this Plantagenet line, and John is right in there, and when he finally sits on the throne in 1199, he's got what he wanted. His father dies of a broken heart, realises that the only son that he really thought he could trust had gone behind his back as well, and had been involved in a lot of the later rebellions, but John has got England, and England isn't too happy. Well, 6 years in, it's 1205, and the new Archbishop of Canterbury, Stephen Langton, is not somebody that John particularly liked. Pope Innocent III thought he was actually a great choice, and but Stephen wasn't going to accept him. John wasn't going to accept him, sorry, and so the Pope excommunicated him in the kingdom. There you go. Henry VIII wasn't the first, that's for sure, and he tried to carry on and make the best of things as they were. By 1209, things had got worse. John went to the Emirate of Morocco, I think around 1213, because he was struggling being excommunicated, and he wanted some backup. So he asked if England would adopt the Muslim religion, would they help? I think they found it all quite amusing, and said no, I don't think he would actually. And so there you go. And 2 years on, you've got the Magna Carta. There he is. He's trotted off and he's signed it, and he doesn't mean a damn thing about it. And thank God, a year later, he passes away, and we get two Well, a king that isn't really mentioned in history books much, but that's King Louis, and we'll talk about him in another video.